Hello everyone, it's me again, Alan, here with another unboxing dash review, this time of Warhammer 40,000's Imperial Knights Renegade, the new box set that came out with the update and release of the Imperial Knight stuff. Let's have a look at what we get in the box, shall we? Gotta say, this box is freaking massive. So, as you can see, we get two Imperial Knights. One is made to be created as a Chaos Knight, but I'm pretty sure the sprues are exactly the same. So you can, like me, do this just as two Imperial Knights for your army. So it's basically an Imperial Knight Start Collecting box, and it retails for about $200 US. Comes with two Knights, Imperial Knight Renegade booklet, Imperial Knight Renegade transfer sheet, regular Imperial Knight transfer sheet, and a big piece of scenery too. That's nice. And then some dice and some cards and such. We will have a look at it as we go. Now, the Imperial Knights are my latest Warhammer 40k army. For me, they have always been something I've wanted, but not really something I could ever afford, as I'm sure a lot of you are in the same position. However, with my new job, I could afford this nice box set and the codex and everything, so. Okay, so the first thing you see here is the Imperial Knight Renegade's rulebook, which we will look at last, as usual. Beautiful bit of art here. I really like this. They also had a nice piece of art in the Forgebane box. I'm probably going to put this on my wall. It looks quite nice. I just like that little bit of effort. And then we get the Imperial Knight sprues. These things are gigantic. I mean, Jesus. You don't really get the scale of Imperial Knights until you hold them. Oh, this is part of the scenery. It's pretty gigantic too. You don't really get the scale of them until you've held them in your hand. They're really, really big. In case you don't know, Imperial Knights in Warhammer 40k are these feudal worlds. They're literally knights. Oftentimes they'll be from a feudal age technology and such, and they will be basically drafted into the War of the Heavens. You can imagine the terror on the face of any young lord or lady who manages to get abducted by the Mechanicus or the Imperium and is forced to fight in their giant wars. Basically taking somebody straight out of the Dark Ages to the War in the Heavens in a giant mecha suit. I like the fish out of water story that provides. The scenery is really cool. It's really gigantic. I'll probably be selling it, to be honest. I don't care much for terrain. And then this is your little upgrade sprue you get. So it's all the extra top weapons. So like the autocannons, missile launchers, and such. And more scenery stuff. These are really hefty. Really quite nice. And then you get your bases, your transfers, and exactly one dice for each faction. Mighty generous of you there, G-dubs. And so you get the Imperial Knight Renegade. So that's just the normal Imperial Knights. From House Targaryen. Targaryen? Like, yeah, I'm probably just putting way too much emphasis on it there. Targaryen. Targaryen? Whatever. Then you get a normal one too. So it's got all the different heraldry for all the different houses on it. I will be using Bretonnian heraldry for my Imperial Knights. That was a long story that I'm sure you guys are not that interested in. But if anybody would like to know, leave me a comment and I will let you know the story behind my Imperial Knight army. Anyway, yeah, that's a lot of sprues you get right there. All the sprue you could ever want. So, yeah, it's quite a value at $200, considering G-Dub's prices. But let us see the rulebook. Let us see how you play a game of Imperial Knights Renegade, even though I probably will never play a game of Imperial Knights Renegade. And so here we have a bit of fluff about the different Imperial Knights that are there. There's that same beautiful artwork. Really like it. Then you get the rules. You can kind of look at them. I'm not really that interested in it, as I said, but you get little different battles for stuff. It's a strange little toned down bit of 40k from what I can see. And you get different heraldry guides and such. I heard it's fun, I'll be honest. It's not really my thing, but... Oh, and then you also get the stuff to actually use them in a game of 40k. It's pretty swifty. You don't get any points values, but what are you going to do? Then you get the Litany of Destruction. That's the Renegade Knight. I believe it's a Knight of Nurgle? Not sure. It's got green on it, so I assume it's a Knight of Nurgle. And on the back you kind of get weapon profiles, all the different options you can give it. And then you get the Red Might, which looks like a Mechanicum Knight. From what I can tell just by the points values, the Imperial Knight, the Red Might, as it were, would be really, really in a much better position than the Litany of Destruction, just because the long-range weapons are much better off than the close-range ones. Oh, and you get a little fold-out core rules. That's swifty. I think I've already got one, but still, I like it. Then you get the Imperial Knight's instruction booklet, which is, again, pretty awesome. I mean, it's not like the crummy ones that always come with the Flames of War stuff. G-Dubs actually puts a bit of effort into their ones. And with a bit of effort, you can also magnetize it, but that's not something I'm going to be doing, I don't believe. And with that, that's Imperial Knights Renegade. That's everything that's included with it. Pretty sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Yeah, so this is surprisingly one of my less lengthy reviews. I am going to give you a bit of my opinion, of course, at the end, because this is a review after all. So, in my opinion, Imperial Knights Renegade is excellent for newer Imperial Knights players. You're basically getting a whole free Imperial Knight and some scenery for only $50 more. Even less if you're in the UK. If you're in the UK, you're lucky when it comes to GW prices. Trust me, I used to live there. And I don't know, it's just, I like to see these cool little, like, start collecting style stuff. Even though it's for these giant stompy knights, there still should be a relatively cheap way to get into it. I understand they're giant knights. I mean, I've got one right here behind me. I'm about halfway through painting. These things are huge. Yeah, you can see it next to my hand. They're gigantic. But even then, you should have some bit of an accessible way for the people like me who enjoy their fluff. I mean, frickin' war in the heavens with medieval knights. What are you gonna do? Medieval knights and giant stompy mecha units. It's frickin' awesome. But that is just my opinion. So overall, of course, if you couldn't tell by now, I gave Imperial Knights Renegade a thumbs up. And I believe that if you are interested in Imperial Knights or Renegade Knights, the Chaos Knights, that you should definitely go ahead and get yourself it. It is worth it every single time. You can also get the Codex for the new Imperial Knights. All the point costs are nice and low, so you can fit about 5 Knight Crusaders in an army, which is pretty swifty. But you know what to do, guys. Like it if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Leave me a comment if you guys want to see what happens. You know, want to hear about my Knight Army. You want to suggest maybe doing more Warhammer videos. I know I don't do them too often. It's because people tend to like my Flames of War stuff a bit more. So, if you want more Warhammer stuff, make sure to leave a comment. Anyway, guys, this has been Alan. Have a good night.